Hi, I'm the autism monster. You can make me go away by drinking a lot of orange juice, just like your common cold. And you can do this by getting this book that costs about $647. Discounted price. Special for you. Okay, we should start over. Hi, welcome to my new video where I ramble about something that makes me incredibly mad. And today we're talking about autism moms again. This time, autism moms that say that they cured their children of autism, which is mildly, how do I say this? Oh yeah, impossible. I will, of course, cope with this by making some jokes so we can laugh on the outside while we cry together on the inside, because that is fun, I think. Maybe. Well, we need to talk about this anyway, so why not make it a tiny, tiny, tiny bit funny sometimes? Before we do that, I would love it if you would subscribe because you would make my uncurable autistic brain cell really, really happy with that. Also, a small PSA: autism is incurable because it's a developmental disability and it's okay to be autistic. This world makes it hard sometimes, but autism shouldn't be cured. We should learn to manage it in this world, and we should hope that other people that are not autistic will listen to autistic people more sometimes so we can make the world a little more accessible together. That will help autism more than people who think they can cure it, which is impossible and harmful to the autistic community to say that. Just imagine being at Christmas dinner soon and having your aunt tell you, "Oh, you're autistic? I saw this thing that you drink smoothies all the time and then you're cured of your autism. Yay!" Yeah, that's not nice. Autism is a disability and not a common cold, even though we just kind of are starting to understand what autism really is. It's not curable like the common cold. We have known that for a while. That's not really surprising to you, right? Well, for some people it is surprising, or they don't want to know this, because eating a bunch of oranges, of course, cures the common cold overnight, and so it also cures autism overnight. You and I both know that everything in that entire sentence was wrong, but some people apparently do not know that. I am so incredibly confused by this. It must be because all of those heavy metals that are in my brain, so that I cannot think straight and I'm just confused all the time. So according to this video, I should make smoothies that pull those heavy metals out of my brain that are apparently in my brain. I think that sounds more like we are making magical potions of some kind. Last I checked, my brain was in my head and not in my stomach, and smoothies did not contain magnets. But that is as far as I know. I could be wrong about that. You know, maybe you might be asking why I'm giving attention to this specific video that only has a couple of likes, because as we all know that giving attention to bad things mostly doesn't go over really well, even if you're a small account doing that, which I am. But I'm just really worried about the amount of people commenting on this video wanting this magical potion recipe for their own children, because again, autism is not curable, and wanting to cure your child of it, it's not the way to go around this, and people should know that. It's kind of like their brain is at the end of their digestive tract, if you understand what I mean by that. Which is also where brains do not belong, of course. I just really want to know where in the world this makes sense, so I think we need to watch something else by this creator. Okay, actually, never mind. We are not watching the video because the only better video I found that sort of maybe explains things had a lot of images of the young child in it that did not add a lot to the video. So I won't show that to you because I don't think very young children belong on the internet before they can give informed consent to that. So I will just read the text on the screen to you because that's basically all we need to know. First, we have: my son was nonverbal until he was nearly 4 years old. In 2020, he was 3.5 and he was diagnosed as autistic. I am going to tell you what is in the video at this point because I think it's absolutely ridiculous. It's the child at his second birthday, I believe, and People around him are singing happy birthday and the child is screaming. Now, lesson 1. Don't ever put your children's meltdowns on the internet. In what world is this being caring or protective for your child? You just don't do that. Why? Next we have, they said he might never be able to talk. They told me ABA was the best I could do for him. It broke my heart into a million pieces. You can even see it here. He wanted to talk, he simply couldn't. I understand that language is a very important thing in current society. However, there are a lot of other ways people can communicate without using verbal language. So maybe you should put your time into exploring that with your child. Maybe look into sign language or an AAC device like a tablet where they can tell you with words and images. But I think that making money on the internet and exploiting your child is actually more important to this person. It really looks like that, doesn't it? The next text is, my mom coach told me that this couldn't be it. There had to be something more I could do to save my son. Save him from what? Autistic people don't need saving from anyone. We need space from people who want to save us more than we need the saving. I don't really want to finish watching this, but I need to know how we get to the heavy metal, so the next thing on the screen is this. I began researching, desperate for answers, hopeful for a real solution. What I discovered blew my mind. Moms that had completely recovered or healed their children of autism. Okay, this person really needs to learn the difference between a virus and autism. They are two very, very different things. Autism is just a developmental thing that happens sometimes in people's brains, and that's okay. Of course, it's hard to be autistic in this world sometimes, and I won't ever deny that, but it would already help so much if we stop treating it like this horrible monster virus that is not contagious, but sometimes people even believe that, and start asking actual autistic people what people can do to help them make the world a little more accessible. That would already make it so much better. But this mom did quite the opposite of helping her child navigate this world that is very overwhelming sometimes. She put him screaming on the internet to exploit him to sell more of her very expensive smoothie recipe book that won't actually help because that's impossible. Apparently, this smoothie mom is not the only mom that thinks she cured autism. I also found this account called War on Autism because war obviously solves everything. I don't actually believe that, but looks like this person does. This actually goes further than just drinking magnetic smoothies. This person is also talking about detoxing. Okay, so first we have a lot of supplements your child needs to take to detox. I think that's quite the opposite of detoxing actually, but I'm not sure about that. And there is a discount code in this video, so apparently this person is also again selling things and using her child to get more money, which is bad. The next video I want to show you is called Our Autism Journey. There's already so much wrong with this video title because why is it always these autism mom thinking that they are the victim of their child's autism? That's so weird.
Okay, so I hope this lands on the right side of TikTok, but I wanted to share my story about my son. So my son does have autism. He was diagnosed right before his second birthday. He was quote unquote normal, until he was a year old. He met all his milestones. He was babbling. He was doing phenomenally. The pediatricians were blown away at how wonderful he was doing. And then somewhere after that 12-month mark, he started to regress. So he lost his words. He would not say mama anymore. He slowly stopped babbling. He lost the skill to use a fork, and along with other fine motor skills. He lost them. He had that growing fascination with his hands where he was just, had his hands in front of his face. And then at around 18 months, he started having self-interest behaviors. So that was our big cue that this is probably autism. So I started calling. There was a 6-month wait list. Of course, if you have ever been down that road, it is so hard to get your child tested because there are so many children who need testing and not enough psychiatrists. So got him on a wait list, and during that time I was reading and researching everything I could about autism, and I came across the GAPS diet. So it's a book, Gut and Psychology Syndrome. It's written by a neurologist whose son had autism, and during her research she ended up discovering the gut and brain connection and how closely related those two are, and she started to heal his gut through diet.
The relationship between guts and the brain in autistic people being kind of important, or at least existent, is true. Recent research has shown that autistic people have different gut bacteria than neurotypical people. So that's true, and it's probably, I think, the reason why all of my autistic friends have stomach pains all the time. But I'm not sure how that actually, I don't think gut bacteria belong in your brain. I think that would be wrong. I also don't think that's a thing that detox can solve. Maybe the stomach pains it maybe can solve. I don't know. I haven't tried that, but it cannot cure autism. It's like we are treating autism as a big parasite here. I actually I actually drew an autism parasite, or maybe it's just an autistic parasite. I think they are very cute. They're a parasite cutie pie, and this parasite is harmless, by the way.
And throughout the course of the book, you end up finding out that her son was actually healed. And that was so inspiring to me and gave me so much hope as a mother, because if your child has autism, they are so frustrated. They can't communicate. My son could not communicate with me, and he was having these self-injurious behaviors because he was so frustrated. He could not tell me what was going on. He couldn't tell me if he was hurting. He couldn't tell me if he was hungry. He couldn't tell me anything.
This he cannot communicate thing frustrates me so bad. Like, 1 day old babies can communicate. They do that by crying. I've seen parents that are so proud that they're able to distinguish the cries of their baby by what the baby needs. I think this person could spend time with their child looking for a solution on how they can communicate together, rather than making him speak language, because that's just one way people communicate. And again, it's an important one in this society, but that doesn't mean that you cannot get around without doing that.
And a lot of our problems came from the fact that he could not communicate that to me, and he couldn't speak. And I didn't know any other way to reach him. We were in speech therapy, but we weren't really progressing like I wanted to.
You were not progressing like you wanted to. It is his life, and he's going to have to do that on his own timeline and not your timeline. The thing that makes autism disabling in this world for me a lot is neurotypical expectation, and this is a wonderful example of this. It doesn't work like that.
And so that book gave me so much hope that maybe this is something that I can help him with. As a mom, I can maybe help him through diet to help him go a step further. Maybe this will alleviate some frustration. Maybe this will alleviate some tummy pain. Maybe that's causing some of this self-injurious behavior. I mean, at that time, I didn't know. I didn't know anything about autism. So we implemented the GAPS diet, and 3 weeks after we implemented the diet, he stopped having self-injurious behaviors.
Okay, that actually might be true, but can we stop calling it curing or recovering autism? Because it isn't that, it's just helping a symptom, which is nice. But whenever someone with a gluten allergy stops eating gluten, doesn't mean that they don't have that gluten allergy anymore. They just are not dying anymore of eating gluten. It's not like you cured the allergy, you found a solution that helps the symptom. Let's backtrack for a second. This person's child used self-injurious behaviors to communicate. Now he's not doing this anymore, which probably means that he has less or no stomach aches anymore. That is nice, but you see the issue here, right? The child communicated something non-verbally, and then they found a solution for that, which is nice in itself, but it did not cure the autism. Thank you.
which led us to a functional medicine doctor, because if this book was true, and it seemed to be true, we were seeing the results from it, then we were on the right track. And maybe there's more with the gut, maybe there's more with the brain, maybe there's more there that my doctor doesn't know. Maybe I need to research another avenue. And that's when we started actually getting tested. So we tested him. We did the organic acids test. We did a mycotoxin test. So we did a GI map. We did all these things to see what was going on internally. And when we got the results, it was mind-blowing. He was eat up with yeast. He was eat up with mold. SIBO, his vitamin C was depleted. He was nutrient deficient. His mitochondria were damaged. Like, there were so many things. His dopamine levels, his serotonin levels, they were all off.
I am sure that dopamine and serotonin are a brain thing and not a gut thing. I know that because my psychiatrist told me that, because I have ADHD and those things are, or at least dopamine is a very important thing for ADHD. So misinformation alerts, I guess. Also, a vitamin C deficiency means that you need to feed your child more fruits, probably. And the other things are definitely also not the root of autism, as far as I know. Might have something to do with that, but it's not the root of autism. If you fix that, you have not cured autism. It's just not how it works, because, again, autism is a brain thing, not a gut thing. It has to do with your gut a little, but it's not the root of the problem. Problem, by the way, I don't think autism in itself is a problem. It makes your life harder sometimes, but it's not something that should be cured.
And that was all coming from his gut. They were all gut issues.
No, it isn't.
And through diet and through detox, and now we're with a wonderful, wonderful ABA clinic.
It's not the ABA clinic. There have been so many reports of people being traumatized during ABA therapy. It's also based on something called behaviorism, which has been proven to not really help on the long run. It basically does more harm than good. Okay, I will stop watching this now, I think. We've seen enough. I want to show you one more video by this creator. It really looks like this mom is victimizing herself because her son is autistic, and I don't like that. Anyhow, I think that I can say that eating habits would never cure autism, luckily. Of course, eating healthily will help anyone's brain to a certain extent, but eating cookies sometimes is also very nice. And they won't make you more autistic, so go grab a cookie. Another problem I have with this entire thing is that a lot of autistic people struggle with new foods and food textures. Encouraging your autistic child to eat new things is a good thing, I think, but detoxing and feeding your child an entire smoothie diet or whatever feels like it's more than that and not a good thing regarding this, if you ask me. And I like smoothies, and I'm happy to report that I am still autistic. If you also like the autism parasite, you can give this video a thumbs up because they would appreciate that a lot, and I would too. You can find my crochet shop in the description. Oh no, poor mushroom. You can find my crochet shop in the description and also my Instagram. And then I hope to see you next time. Ciao!